Hi, everybody. I just got back from visiting family out of town, and I have to say, I love GPS. You know, that thing that says, turn here, 5 more minutes to your destination. You know, that thing is awesome. And I'm not just bringing it up for fun, it actually is a big deal. Because what we're talking about is this thing in the sky, in space, that tells you, it knows where you are. It knows that you're in which country, in what city, on what road you are on, and how to get you from where you are starting to where you are going. It's very cool like that. It's crazy. You just type in the address you're headed to, and it takes you to where you're going. Right? Crazy. Who would have think that this thing out in space, like wherever it is, knows where I am and needs to tell me how to get to where I'm going. So cool. Now, why am I talking about GPS? Other than it is very cool. I was thinking about this as I was driving along these roads I had never been on, and I was like, but I'm going the right way, and I know I can trust the GPS. I'm not going to start arguing with the GPS. Do you really know where you're going? You know, I'm not backseat driving to the GPS, okay? But I know it knows because it sees the bigger picture. It has a bigger picture. It knows where I am. It knows the roads. It sees it all from space. And I thought how comparable it is to Torah and 3,000 years plus of Jewish wisdom. There is Torah and wisdom and Jewish wisdom, this huge amount of information that we can trust to get us through our lives, and hopefully at the end of it, be good Jewish people at the end of it. This is what I tell my kids. My job is to make sure that you turn out to be good human beings. And not just good human beings, good Jewish human beings. My kids are like, they know the speech already. But how do we get to that goal? How do we know the path? How do we know? Because there's a lot of paths. And for some people, some are valid. And for other people, other things are valid. But for the Jewish people, we have wisdom that goes back and back. We talk about Rabbi Hillel and Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Shammai like they're friends of ours. But they lived, Rabbi Akiva, they lived at the time of the Romans. But we talk about them all the time. Rabbi Akiva, love your neighbor like yourself. You know, that he says, that part's from Torah. But he expands on it. He says, this is the most important piece of Torah. But we all know Rabbi Akiva, but he lived through, time of the Romans. It's a long time ago. But he's part of our lives. So how do we know how to get from place A to place B? How do we know what kind of people we want to be? What kind of values we want to have? Even if you're not, Torah observant or, mitzvah observant, we're all doing mitzvahs all the time, even though we don't think about them. How do we know to give tzedakah? How do we know that giving charity is a huge, big deal? Because it's part of our Jewish value system. So even if you're not doing all of it, you're doing more than you think you're doing. But how do we know that charity is important and such a huge, big deal? Because Torah tells us so. Because that's our value system. So while GPS is busy getting us from one city to the next in whatever country, city, wherever you are, Torah's there to give us a guide, a plan, a value system, to get us from being these little children, what value system we're giving them. It's giving us the plan from getting A to B, from being a kid till 100, living till 120, God willing. And at the end of it, people can say, yeah, that was a good person. And that was not just a good person, that was a good Jewish person with Jewish values and Jewish ethics. Fantastic stuff. So Torah is our GPS. 3,000 years of Jewish wisdom. GPS, you know. I was just thinking, GPS, global positioning system, I guess. So our GPS is our God positioning system, right? That's how we know what kind of people we want to be. You know, God willing, when we're all, you know, after 120 years at our funerals, you can say, yeah, this person, we got it right. That's what you want. You have something on you want to be proud of yourself at the end. You know? Don't, you know, take it day by day, but really you want to have a picture of where you want to be at the end. You want to be proud of yourself in your lifetime of work. We all want to be proud of ourselves. And then why not? Doing good things, doing God's work is always a good thing. Taking care of each other, always a good thing. Helping people out, always a good thing. Feeding people who need food, always a good thing. Giving people clothes who need clothes. It's not, none of this is small. We are all God's partners in making this world a godly place. Every time you donate to any, you know, organization that gives clothes to people who need clothes, you're being godly. Every time you give tzedakah to any organization that's, you know, I'm sure a worthwhile organization, you're being godly because we're partners with God. Isn't that great? And every time you give, you become more connected with your spiritual side. That's fantastic because you are a spiritual being with a body that needs to use that body for spiritual activities. And the more spiritual activities you do with your body itself becomes more spiritual and more connected to its neshama, its soul. And the soul's connected to God. You know, the soul's a piece of God. So it's everyone has their place in this world, right? And we just have to find our mitzvah that connects us, that we get excited about, that connects us to our spiritual side, that connects this world and makes this world a unified place on, you know, with godliness underpinning the whole thing. It's fantastic stuff. Anyway, go play with your GPS, your God positioning system, and, you know, open a Torah, open up your Chumash, your 5 books of Moses, but there's so much more than just that. Don't forget that 3,000 plus years of Jewish wisdom that goes with it, that explains so much deeper than just opening a book of 5 books of Moses, which is in itself special. But there's so much the more that, you know, to dig into and enjoy and learn so much about the world around us. Anyway, hope all is well. It's Shabbat tonight and I hope you are excited to enjoy the next 25 hours and just enjoy the people around you and your friends and family. Be well, everybody. Take care. Shabbat shalom.